Welcome to part 2 of this AI-generated Bandcamp story. I am Smaz of SoS Storytelling, and if you haven't listened to part 1 yet, please give that a listen before listening to this. But without further ado, here is part 2 of the story. Chapter 5: Marching Madness. As the dust settled from the explosion, Bandcamp resumed its usual chaos with an added layer of excitement. The drummer's arrival had injected a new energy into the camp, and I found myself caught up in the whirlwind of rehearsals and hijinks. But amidst the chaos, one thing became abundantly clear. My newfound passion for music was beginning to take on a life of its own. As I picked up my trumpet and joined the ranks of the marching band, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was marching to the beat of a different drum. Literally. As Mr. Thompson led us through the intricacies of our latest show, I found myself swept up in the rhythm, my fingers flying across the keys with a newfound confidence. With each note, I felt a surge of exhilaration coursing through my veins, as if the music itself was propelling me forward. But as the days turned into weeks, I began to notice a strange side effect of my musical prowess, a growing sense of horniness. Yes, you read that right. Horniness. Not in the traditional sense, mind you, but rather a literal obsession of all things horn-related. Okay. Trumpets, trombones, tubas, you name it, I couldn't get enough. It started innocently enough, with me spending hours poring over sheet music and practicing my scales until the wee hours of the morning. But soon, my obsession began to spill onto other areas of my life, much to the amusement and sometimes concern of my fellow campers. "Hey Alex, why are you wearing a trumpet on your head?" Evan asked one morning, his brow furrowed in confusion. I blinked, startled out of my reverie as I realised that, indeed, I had fashioned a makeshift trumpet hat out of an old marching band uniform. "Oh, you know, just trying to get into the spirit of things," I replied with a sheepish grin. Evan shook his head, chuckling to himself as he went back to his own practice. But as I watched him go, I couldn't help but feel a pang of embarrassment at my own antics. Was I losing my mind? Or was this just what happened when you spent too much time around brass instruments? Determined to shake off my newfound obsession, I threw myself into rehearsals with renewed fervour, hoping that the distraction would help clear my head. But try as I might, I couldn't shake that feeling that something strange was afoot at Bandcamp, something that went far beyond my own musical madness. And as I took my place on the field for our first full run-through of the show, I couldn't shake the feeling that the real fun was only just beginning. As Mr. Thompson raised his baton and the first notes of the music filled the air, I felt a surge of adrenaline coursing through my veins. With each step, each note, I felt myself getting hornier and hornier. Not in the traditional sense, mind you, but rather in a way that only a true band geek could understand. And as we reached the climax of the show, with the music reaching a crescendo and the crowd erupting into applause, I knew that I had found my true calling. Sure, it might be a little unconventional, a little out there, but hey, isn't that what Bandcamp is all about? As I marched off the field with a grin plastered across my face, I couldn't wait to see what other hijinks awaited me in the days ahead. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, I'd finally find out what was really going on at Bandcamp. But one thing was for sure, with my trumpet in hand and a song in my heart, I was ready for whatever came my way. And as I glanced over at Evan, his eyes shining with excitement, I knew that together we could take on anything, even if it meant marching to the beat of a different drum. Chapter 6: Notes of Intrigue. As the days passed at Bandcamp, the mystery surrounding the attack on the counsellor and the strange occurrences in the woods only deepened. Despite my best efforts to focus on my trumpet playing and shake off my peculiar obsession, I couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister was lurking just beneath the surface. Evan and I continued our investigations, scouring the camp for clues and piecing together the puzzle one note at a time. But try as we might, we couldn't shake the feeling that we were missing something. Something important. And then, just when we least expected it, a new player entered the scene. The girl with the red hair. I spotted her across the rehearsal hall one afternoon, her fiery locks standing out like a beacon amidst the sea of faces. There was something about her, a sense of quiet determination mixed with a hint of mischief that drew me in like a moth to a flame. As I made my way over to introduce myself, Evan trailing behind me, I couldn't help but feel a surge of anticipation. Maybe she held the key to unravelling the mystery of Bandcamp once and for all. "Hey," I said, offering a tentative smile as I approached. The girl looked up, her eyes meeting mine with a mixture of curiosity and amusement. "Hey," she replied, her voice warm and inviting. "I'm Alex," I said, extending my hand. She shook it with a grin. "I know, I've seen you around." I felt a flush of embarrassment creeping up my neck. Sorry, I didn't mean to." She laughed, cutting me off with a wave of her hand. "Relax, I'm just messing with you. I'm Lily." Lily. The name suited her somehow. Vibrant and full of life, like the flowers that bloomed in the spring. As we chatted, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Lily than met the eye. There was a spark of intelligence in her eyes, a hint of mischief lurking beneath the surface. And as she told us about her experiences at Bandcamp, the late-night jam sessions, the secret rendezvous in the woods, I couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement. Maybe, just maybe, she held the key to unlocking the secrets of Bandcamp once and for all. But as we parted ways that afternoon, my mind was buzzing with questions. Who was Lily really? And what did she know about the mysteries that lurked in the shadows? As I lay in bed that night, my thoughts whirling with possibilities, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were on the verge of a breakthrough, a thrilling reveal that would finally shed light on the truth behind the strange occurrences at Bandcamp. Don't hold your breath. And as I drifted off to sleep, my dreams filled with visions of trumpets and trombones, I knew that the adventures were only just beginning. Chapter 7. Symphony of Secrets Unveiled! The sun dipped below the horizon, casting the campground in an ethereal glow as the night descended upon Bandcamp. But amidst the serene beauty of the evening, danger lurked in the shadows, waiting to strike. As Alex lay in his bunk, his mind buzzing with anticipation, a sudden commotion jolted him awake. With a surge of adrenaline, he leapt out of bed, his senses on high alert as he raced towards the source of the disturbance. Outside, the campgrounds were alive with activity as campers and councillors alike gathered in the central square, their faces etched with fear and determination. In the centre of the crowd stood Mr. Thompson, his eyes blazing with intensity as he addressed the assembled masses. "Listen up, everyone," he shouted, his voice cutting through the night air like a thunderclap. "We have reason to believe that there is a traitor in our midst, someone who seeks to undermine everything we've worked so hard to achieve." Gasps rippled through the crowd as Mr. Thompson's words sank in. A traitor in Bandcamp? The very idea seemed inconceivable, but as Alex scanned the faces around him, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. And then, as if on cue, a figure stepped forward from the shadows. A familiar face with fiery red hair and a glint of mischief in her eyes. "Lily?" exclaimed Alex, his voice tinged with disbelief. Lily grinned, her expression equal parts defiance and determination. "That's right," she said, her voice ringing out with confidence. "I'm the one you've been looking for, the drummer's accomplice." A collective gasp swept through the crowd as Lily's words hung in the air, sending shockwaves rippling through the ensembled masses. But before anyone could react, she raised her hand, signalling to someone hidden in the shadows. And that's when they emerged. A legion of masked figures, their faces obscured by the darkness as they advanced on the camp with weapons drawn. With a cry of alarm, Alex sprang into action, his heart pounding in his chest as he faced off against the advancing horde. But even as he fought tooth and nail to defend his friend and fellow campers, he couldn't shake the feeling that the real battle had only just begun. As Lily and her cohorts closed in, Alex knew that he would need all the help he could get if he hoped to emerge victorious. With a defiant cry, he raised his trumpet to his lips, the notes ringing out like a clarion call as he rallied his comrades to his side. And as the clash of steel echoed through the night, Alex knew that no matter what trials lay ahead, he would face them head-on, with courage and determination in his heart. For Bandcamp was more than just a summer retreat. It was a crucible of friendship, teamwork, and the unbreakable bonds forged in the fire of adversity. And as the battle raged on into the night, Alex knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he would face them with the strength of his trumpet and the unwavering support of his friends by his side. For in the end, it wasn't just about winning the battle, It was about preserving the harmony of Bandcamp and uncovering the truth behind the symphony of secrets that lay hidden in its hallowed halls. Chapter 8: Revelations in the Rhythm. As the clash of weapons and the blare of trumpets filled the night air, Alex found himself locked in a fierce battle against Lily and her masked cohorts. Each note he played on his trumpet was like a battle cry, rallying his fellow campers to stand firm against the onslaught. But amidst the chaos and confusion, a sudden realization struck Alex like a lightning bolt. There was something deeper at play here, something that went far beyond a mere power struggle with the ranks of Bandcamp. With a steely resolve, Alex fought his way through the throng of masked assailants, his mind racing with possibilities. And then, just as he reached Lily's side, a voice rang out from the shadows, a voice that sent a chill down his spine. "Enough!" The command echoed through the clearing, cutting through the cacophony of battle like a knife. And as the crowd fell silent, Mr. Thompson stepped forward, his expression grave. "It's time to end this madness," he declared, his voice filled with a solemn determination. "But, Mr. Thompson," Alex protested, his heart pounding in his chest. "What's really going on here? Why are the councillors being attacked?" Mr. Thompson's gaze softened, a hint of sadness flickering in his eyes. "It's time you knew the truth," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "Bandcamp isn't just a summer retreat. It's a training ground for the next generation of musical warriors." Alex's eyes widened in disbelief. "Musical warriors?" Mr. Thompson nodded, his expression grave. "Yes. You see, long ago Bandcamp was founded by a secret society known as the Symphony Guardians, a group of musicians tasked with protecting the world from the forces of darkness." "And the councillors?" Alex asked, his mind reeling with the implications of Mr. Thompson's words. "They are the chosen few, the elite warriors trained to defend Bandcamp and all who reside within its walls," Mr. Thompson explained, his voice tinged with reverence. "But recently, we discovered that someone within our own ranks has betrayed us, jeopardizing everything we hold dear." Lily's eyes flashed with defiance as she stepped forward, her voice ringing with conviction. "I did what I had to do," she declared, her gaze meeting Alex's with unwavering determination. "For the greater good." But before Alex could respond, a deafening roar split the night air, sending shockwaves rippling through the clearing. And then, with a blinding flash of light, the ground beneath them erupted in a shower of sparks and debris. As Alex struggled to maintain his footing amidst the chaos, a figure emerged from the smoke, a figure clad in armour of gleaming silver and wielding a sword of purest light. Who are you?" Alex stammered, his voice barely audible over the roar of the explosion. The figure stepped forward, his eyes blazing with righteous fury. "I am the Guardian of Harmony," he declared, his voice echoing with the power of 1,000 trumpets. "And I have come to cleanse Bandcamp of the darkness that threatens to consume it." With a cry of defiance, Alex raised his trumpet to his lips, the notes ringing out like a clarion call as he prepared to face the true enemy that lurked in the shadows. For in that moment, he knew that the fate of Bandcamp, and perhaps the entire world, rested in his hands. And with the power of music as his ally, he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, no matter how daunting they may be. For the Symphony of Secrets was about to reach its crescendo, and only by embracing the harmony within could Alex hope to emerge victorious in the battle that lay ahead. Alright. Yeah, so there's an awful lot of strange stuff going on here with these chapters. Very, very bizarre. What was going on with chapter 5? Marching Madness, where Alex just starts talking about horniness, but not in the traditional sense. And then the plot just comes back in chapter 6, like nothing ever happened. Chapter 5 is also really weird. It's like, Alex is suddenly playing a show from Bandcamp, but then he just goes back to Bandcamp. It's very, very odd, very strange. I appreciate, though, on the positive side, how chapter 6 does start tying things together a bit, considering where chapter 5 was just a massive deviation. And then chapter 7 and 8 kind of go down the whole path of let's set up an action type scenario where we have to fight each other and the Guardian, and it all sort of shifts genre quite a bit. It turns from more like young adult to more like action fantasy for some reason. Yeah, I have no idea where this is going. There's also an awful lot of I couldn't shake the feeling that this was going to happen, or I couldn't shake that feeling that this might be happening going on here. There's an awful lot of repetition, which just wouldn't happen if I was to write this myself. Also, one thing I wanted to mention in the previous part, Alex, I think, was actually genderless in the first few chapters. No mention of gender at all. So Alex could have been any gender, and then suddenly it comes crashing in, certainly in chapter 6, where there's a lot of he, him, he references. So, also switched perspectives, suddenly became third person instead of first person. I think that probably influenced it. Anyway, join me for the final part of this AI-generated Bandcamp story, which I believe we should probably just call Bandcamp Blues Symphony of Secrets at this point. And, look forward to the strange ending. If you like this video and want to see more storytelling goodness, then make sure to subscribe to SoS Storytelling and give this video a like. Until next time, see ya!